Hey everyone, this is Phoebe from Street Style Surgery. I hope you're all doing well this week. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make one of these DIY pin boards. So the materials we're going to need: some PVA glue and a brush, some scissors, some tape and some cardboard. So those materials are what we'll use to make the base. And then when it comes to decorating the background, you've got a few options. So on this one, I just used some acrylic paint and some glitter and some paint pens. And then with the one I'm going to show you how to make now, I'm going to collage the background instead. So I've just got some kind of scraps of coloured paper and some newspapers and magazines. And then when it comes to what you put on your pin board, you can attach whatever you like using these kind of drawing pins, and I've put on postcards, some bits of material that I liked, just things I've collected. You can also use it to put kind of memos on, so things you need to remember, so you can have a space where you can pop sticky notes on. So and then photographs or postcards, so anything really. So the first thing we're going to do is to make the background using the cardboard. So with this one I made it with one big piece of cardboard, which is the easiest way to do it, but I also wanted to show you what you can do if you don't have any big pieces and you're just working with smaller bits. So I've got 4 of these smaller bits, which I'm going to make a square pin board out of. So I'm just going to start off with these 2 and just lay them down on my table, and then I'm going to glue on top and stick these other ones over the top crossways to make it nice and strong. And then I can trim around it to make sure that it's got a nice clean edge. The only thing that you need to be sure of is that your cardboard, when it's finished, is at least as thick as your pins. So as I'm going to have double this, I'll be fine. I'm just going to squeeze the PVA glue all over these first 2 pieces, and then even it out with the paintbrush. You want to put plenty on so it really sticks nice and strong. Make sure you're going right to the edges. And remember to put something down on the table if you're not working on a surface that it's okay to get messy. So now I'm going to put these 2 on top, and I'm going to choose the sides to face upwards that are the nicest and the most flat. So I'll put that side facing down. I'll just lay that one across the top, stick it down nice and firmly, and then my second piece, in the same way, I'm just going to lay that across the bottom and stick it down nice and firmly. I've just turned it over and I'm pressing down on the other side as well, just to make sure it's all really nicely stuck. And then once it's stuck down, I'm just going to cut around the edge to the shape of the square that I want the board to end up as. So I've neatened up all of the edges and I'm left with my double thickness cardboard square. The next thing I'm going to do is to collage the background. So I'm just going to work with all these little bits of coloured paper and also anything that I see in the magazines and newspapers that I like and I want to stick down, and work on it until I've covered the whole cardboard background. A couple of tips for when you're collaging is, one, to make sure you use pieces that go straight over the gap in your cardboard, and two, once you've finished, like I have, you can go over the whole thing, just putting a bit of PVA on all of the edges that are sticking up, and that will mean that it lasts for longer and doesn't end up with bits getting pulled off. So as you can see, the finish on my board is nice and smooth once I've flattened down the last bits. It's nice and smooth, there are no sticking up bits because I've used the PVA to flatten them all down. You also can't tell where the two pieces of cardboard I stuck together earlier join because I've put bits of the collage overlapping them to hide the gap. So the next thing to do is just to leave this until it's properly dried, and then we're going to start sticking our whatever we want to put on our pin board onto it with our pins. I've left this to dry for 4 or 5 hours, and now I'm going to arrange the things I want on my pin board. So I've got a collection of postcards which I'm going to pin on one side, on this colourful side, and then I'm going to use this side that I've collaged with newspaper just to have some sticky notes so I can put reminders or to do things. So the nice thing with having them on a pin board is that you can change them regularly. So as soon as you get bored of looking at one picture, you can just change it up for something else. So I'm going to start with these two. And so you don't make holes in the actual images, you can just pin around them to keep them stuck onto the board. And the pins go really easily into the cardboard. I'm just going to put some sticky notes onto this side, ready for my notes. Then the last thing I'm going to do is just attach a piece of string to the back so that I can hang it onto the wall. So I'm just going to use this wool and sellotape a bit to each side. So I'm just going to stretch it across. This is the top of the board. I'm just going to stick it down on one side, and then I'll cut it there and stick it on the other side too. So that is now able to hang from the wall. I'll just swap it over with this one. And there we have it. My DIY pin board is ready for me to write my notes on, and then I can keep changing them up because they're just on sticky pads. So I hope you've enjoyed this how-to, and I hope you make some of your own DIY pin boards. Bye!